Hey, Corey, it's Hunter. How's it going, man?
Hey, good, Hunter. How you doing, man?
I'm fantastic.
So, where are you calling from right now?
That's a great question. I'm on the front porch, I guess the front steps of my house in Nashville, and the weather is beautiful. And I am enjoying my first full day back in town and watching my dog run around like a crazy dog.
What kind of dog?
So I have two. I have a retired racing greyhound who's the laziest, sweetest dog, but he's lazy. And then I have a miniature greyhound, like a whippet beagle. Her name is Ella, and she's my little adventurer.
Now, do you ever get to bring him on tour when you're traveling around? Do they make it on the tour bus with you, or?
Honestly, dude, the greyhound, being his relaxed state, even though he takes up an entire couch and he refuses to not sit on a couch, he's great to take on the road. When he's come on a lot of bus trips with me, and we've gone all over the world together. But my little one, she's not really. She's a flight risk. I don't know that you want to deal with that on a bus on a tour day schedule. And she's happier here at home with about an acre and a half to run around, fenced in. She's safe and she loves it.
Yeah, that's like the ideal doggy dream right there. Well, Hunter, you've been all over recently, overseas. By the way, did you make it to the Great Wall of China the other day?
No, the weather did not permit. Man, it was such a crazy trip, dude. We started our touring this year in Berlin. And for the first time I've ever been there, we played there for country to country. We did London, Glasgow, Dublin, Amsterdam, Zurich. And then we went for 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks to visit our men and women all over Europe and in the Middle East. That was my first time in the Middle East, and we played four bases in Kuwait and got to visit our men and women in Bahrain. And it was a total life. Those trips are always life changing. We've done a few tours just for military, and this is our third one actually. And to try to put into words the perspective you gain and the experiences that you have and the feeling you walk away with after meeting these men and women and hearing their stories, it's impossible to put into words. I mean, it's just totally life-changing.
Yeah, that's one of those things I would feel like you'd never forget about. It's always going to be with you. Now, when you do this type of thing, Hunter, do you have free time to go out and explore, to kind of venture out, or are you pretty restricted with your time?
I will say, I credit where when we get to visit the base, they always make sure that we have at least an hour to 2 hours to visit with either it's like the base leadership, and we do like almost like a press conference style, like Q&A where we get to meet them. They tell us what they do. They learn about us. We learn about them. And those are always incredible visits. Or they take us for a tour of, maybe their work sites, whatever, mission they have. They kind of walk us through it and show us, or we'll like get to go on a ship, or like, we got to see the assembly of like, it was all those kind of things. They take you on the, but it's a very different kind of touring because, you have to clear, the security at the gate, and the base is very, strict on kind of when you can go. And so it's a very, very, very strict schedule, and completely understandably so. They have way more important things to do than deal with us, coming on base. But we're grateful. We're grateful that they take the time, that they let us come, and they, we get to spend time with them.
Yeah, such a cool, unique experience. Now, like you mentioned, they got a lot of important things to do. They're busy. No idea what kind of free time they have. However, when you were performing for them, Hunter, were you impressed with some of your newer songs that maybe they knew them, they were singing them back? How was that reaction?
Yo, straight up, yes. I was astonished because, I just put out Heartbreak a couple of, it feels like not even a month ago. It was a little bit more than that, I think. But, yeah, I mean, I don't expect, for everybody, obviously, to know that we even put new music out, much less, know the words. But, dude, like, we launched into Dear God at the halfway through the set, and I saw people singing along. We at one of the bases, this was really astonishing. We did Heartbreak, and I saw people, like, singing every word to the verses, because the second verse has a lot of words in it. And they were doing the whole like Chuck thing during the chorus, and I was like, dude, this is so rad. Like, it just made me feel so good.
To have music that hasn't been out that long, to where you've already got a large group of people who know it, who are singing it back to you, that has got to be so rewarding as a performer.
Yeah, man, it's incredible. You spend a lot of time, pouring out your heart and soul into these songs, and when it finally gets released, you never know how it's how it's going to be received, but you want the world to receive it well and connect with it. That's the most important thing. It's like, don't just, you don't just hope that the world likes it, but you hope that people can relate to it. That's the idea. And I think that just solidifies that, and that just makes me feel better about about my art and myself and my contribution to the world.
Exactly. Now we're going to be seeing you May 9th at the Fillmore. Has there been anything during this trip of yours that you tried out and you've made adjustments to, maybe for when we see you down the road here in a couple months?
Yeah, funny enough, we put a lot of work into this show that we that we brought overseas, and we're tearing it all apart and completely redoing it for the spring. And that was always the idea and the design. Because when we play for our men and women, we have one job, and it's to make sure that they have a night off and they enjoy themselves, and it's a bit of a party. For my show, here in the States for the spring tour, I really want people to get to know me as I am now, and I felt like we did a little bit of that with the debut record, but I wanted to go deeper for this tour. So it's a lengthy set list which excites me because it's a lot of music that I care about and want to share with the world, and some of it's out, some of it's not out, and so we'll be playing a lot of new music that is not released. But that really excites me, and I'm like on fire to get into the rehearsal space with the band and run through this set list because it's the most exciting set list I've probably ever had.
Well, that's awesome to hear. We're excited, and I know some people probably going to be a little shocked, too, when they see you because you got a new hairdo. I mean...
or lack thereof, really, honestly, if we're talking about it.
Is there a story behind that? Is it because you were on the military basis? Because it's a crew cut. How'd that come about?
I did actually get it cut on one of the bases, which was super rad, but, dude, honestly, I just needed a change. I felt like after a while, when I first started out on the debut record, like it was natural, but after a while, like the hair kind of felt like it became a bit of a persona for me, and I didn't like it. I was like, man, I got to go back to me, and so the buzz cut was just a fresh start, man. I feel like we all kind of need that at moments in our life, and it's seemingly dumb and simple and completely insignificant, but when I looked in the mirror for the first couple of weeks, I felt like a new person, and that it reflects how I felt about the music, about this tour, about life, and it was a nice change.
It's something, like you said, so simple, but it does make you feel more comfortable in your own skin when you do get something like that done. I mean, I'm the same way. I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you get it.
Out of curiosity, when you're overseas, or maybe just recently over the past couple months, have you had any fun purchases, maybe that you just kind of bought on a whim, or something unique or different that you've gotten?
That's a great question. I actually jumped back into my cigar obsession while we were in Kuwait. That was kind of my chance to sit with a band outside and just smoke a cigar, and I got really into that about a year and a half ago, and I last like 6 months I haven't done it as much, and so I don't know if that counts, but
no,
it was a return to it's just so chill, man. I think one of my favorite things about the reason I got into smoking cigars is just because it forces you to sit down for 30 minutes and chill out, which I really need help doing. And it also allowed me, I'm on the road with an entirely new team. I've been blessed to meet an incredible new group of musicians that are super inspiring. And I just, it's given me a chance to get to know them and for them to get to know me and just to spend time together, just quality band hang time,
Is there one that maybe pops in your head that you would recommend if somebody was to come to you like, hey, Hunter, what's a cigar I should try? Anything stick out?
Man, I am a big fan and will always be a big fan of the Liga Privada makes a cigar called the Papas Fritas, and it's literally leftovers from like 5 other really expensive cigars, but it's a quick 30-minute smoke. And it's not like super heavy, but it's really balanced. It's like a commercial for all of their cigars. I can't believe I'm in an interview talking about this and recommending a cigar. But if you follow my Cigar Aficionado channel, that's honestly one that I feel like even a new cigar smoker would love that. It's a great hang, and I cannot believe I just gave that piece of consumer advice.
Hey, it's got to be refreshing to probably hit on something slightly different during an interview, because I'm sure.
I'm so excited about it. I'm here for it.
This one, a little different as well. When you're on the road and maybe check into a hotel, whatnot, do you have alias you go by, something you use so people there aren't aware it's you that's staying?
I Well, we don't. First of all, we don't really get to stay in hotels that often. We live pretty much on the bus. The bus leaves at midnight, and we wake up in a new city, which is super rad. But yeah, I did it years ago as a joke because it wasn't necessary. It wasn't something that I had to do for my security or anything. I just did it because I was like, yeah, it's part of the gig. You do it. And I've cycled through a few, and they're always a joke. And I think last year. It was it's super sick and twisted that I would even do this, but I came up with the name based on my 3 favorite scotches, and not one place spelled it right. Never ever did anybody spell it right or say it right. It was almost like I felt bad the first time somebody had to try to pronounce it. I was like, God, I'm that guy. I'm that idiot, and I've just made this person's day so much more difficult than it should have been. But it was an early game that we kind of created, and now it's just we try to see if we can top it.
Oh, you got to give us the name now. The drink. You can't tease us and say you had this crazy, unique drink name and then not tell us.
I can 100% tease and not confess it. I did change it because I did feel bad about it. But yeah, no, when you're on the road with your best friends and I've this last trip, man, I've never laughed as much as I have in the past 2 weeks in my entire life. I mean, we have so much fun on the road, and it should not be allowed by law.
Well, you sound very passionate, Hunter, which is awesome. We're excited because you're excited. Say somebody's on the fence about buying a ticket. Sell them right now. How would you describe your show at the Fillmore May 9th when they come see you?
The Shark Tank elevator pitch. The show is divided into acts, which I've never done before. And the first one is called I Don't Believe We Met. And my goal with that is, even though maybe you might have heard one of the songs, or maybe, you saw the Wikipedia page where it says I'm still 15, my goal is for people to get to know me through and through. And I don't think I've ever had a show this transparent. And I don't think I've ever been as proud of music as I am of this music from this project, because of that. It's all about connecting with the world around me and singing about things that we all go through, and being there together and to lift each other up, And I love playing live. That's where everything makes sense. We write, I went through over 200 songs for this album and for this project, I should say. And it's worth it. It's worth it to get to the amount of songs that we get to play live, and the kind of conversations that I get to have with the audience. It's my dream. I've always wanted to play live, and that's where everything makes sense. That's where everything comes full circle.
Well, Hunter, man, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Really looking forward to May 9th at the Fillmore. And honestly, thank you for taking the time, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate the chat. Thanks for asking me about cigars, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the show.